Hello, hello, hello. This is Attorney Mike Grevin coming to you from Chicago. As usual, I actually went out today. I had to go see my girl Nora, get my hairs cut. I feel like a new man. It's all good. So while I was streaming a trial last week, we have a soft sit roll into 3B. We've got Judge Middleton. We've got our good friend Deborah Davis. We've got a soft sit. Let's do it, shall we?
I'd have to feel like I should be elected emperor of the world before I could be that arrogant, not show up for a sentencing. Like really, like top two. Only me and one other person get to run for emperor of the world.
All right, let me hear. Wow.
And our staff can download it. So I guess I'll have to have you work with them about how to get it.
Okay.
And then I don't know who the ticket was from the newer one, but I will see if there's digital evidence in that one, okay?
Yep.
I think we're back. All right, let's turn this record on. This is the time and date set for a last pretrial conference in the matter of People versus Justin Michael Aiken. The file number is 222036 and 37. You're Justin Michael Aiken?
I am Justin Aiken.
All right, and tell me what you said before we turn the record on about reserving all of your rights.
I reserve all my rights per UCC 1-308 without prejudice.
Oh, yes.
Mr. Aiken, you got cited that day for having no insurance and driving with a suspended license. That day was October 18th. You've been here several times and represented yourself, and you've been respectful. You and I have some fundamental disagreement about how the law works, but nonetheless, you've been respectful. And you indicated at the attorney pretrial that you wish to have the matter set for a trial. So now is the time we decide what we're going to do. Now, the matter can be set for a jury trial in front of me or Judge Pattison. This would be a good case for Judge Pattison. Or it could be set for a bench trial or a jury trial. I'm concerned that you don't have a law degree and you don't know the rules of evidence and procedure, and you could be at a disadvantage in a trial before a jury where you have to make an opening statement, present jury instructions, that sort of thing. If we set it for a bench trial, we could set it probably soon as March.
Yeah, Judge
Jury
Pattison
trial
would be
may
great
take
too.
longer. I understand clearly you want your day in court. Are you willing to have this matter set for a bench trial in front of a judge, or do you still wish to have it set in front of a jury?
Well, I'm trying to think about this for a second here. I actually came in here today to plead to this court motion for dismissal with prejudice for failure to state cause of action in which relief can be granted.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
the citation, what is a citation? And then I got formed on a formal complaint. That's the new one. The ticket alleges that on or about August 18th of 2022, you were driving with a suspended driver's license. That is a very common offense. It's charged under the Michigan Motor Vehicle Code at 2579041B. It's a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. They allege that you were driving in the village of Constantine. They also allege under the Motor Vehicle Code that you did not have a valid plate. That's 257255. And then they charged under the insurance code that you had no valid insurance or security on the vehicle. That's 500-3102. There is a driving record attached, which shows, according to the Michigan Department of Secretary of State, that your driving license was suspended on that day in October of 2022. And the ticket sort of speaks for itself. So there does appear to be sufficient evidence to support this claim. You're all sort of talking about a motion for directed verdict almost, but we aren't there yet. Anyway, your motion to dismiss for lack of statutory authority for relief is denied.
I'm shocked. Oh, yeah.
So that leaves us still with the case. All right, well, let's hold on to this one for a minute. You got cited again on January 9th and filed 23-40SM with driving without insurance and once again, driving with a suspended license.
Brenna, what agency issued that? Because I don't have that one.
That is Cameron Wright. Let me look at that.
Oh, it's a DNR.
Yeah, it was a weird DNR citation.
Probably has a paper file in our office. I'll have to get.
We've got Alaska peeps now.
Anyway, that was set for this morning, and you called, and we said it makes more sense to just do it all at once. So we set that for today. So it's an arraignment. Get it again. Same sorts of charges. It's alleged that on or about January 9th, you were Miller's Mill and Purgatory out in the official boondocks, again, driving with a suspended license, unregistered vehicle, and no insurance. The exact same charges near the exact same location where you got cited before.
That's the way I
I'm
feel.
assuming you wish to plead not guilty to those new charges.
I'm not pleading to anything, Your Honor.
I'll enter a not guilty plea on
You
your
can't plead
behalf.
for me. You cannot
All
enter
right,
a
well,
plea.
one thing I can do is I can set a bond for you on a new misdemeanor charge doing the exact same thing you were doing this time. The bond could be about $10,000. I told you last time I did not want you to drive in violation of this. You have some misguided understanding that you're traveling and not driving. So if you're going to keep driving, I'm just going to put you in jail and I'll give you your day in court, but you'll be in custody. I'm very disappointed that you went out and did the exact same thing I told you not to do. I'm entering a plea of not guilty on your behalf. If you want me to not enter a plea, I can stick you in jail for about 28 days and we can talk about it in early March. I was about to give you a personal recognizance bond on these charges. I told you when I talked to you the last time, if you did this again, I was going to set a bond and put you in jail. But you've always been respectful, if not misguided. But if you do this again, I'm going to set a very high bond and you're going to sit in jail. You have some misguided understanding of what the law is and think that somehow you have the privilege to drive after the state of Michigan has suspended your license. You also have the misguided understanding you can drive around with no insurance and no registration.
He's too nice. Nobody believes him.
If I got in an accident with you, I sure would want to be in an accident with you as an uninsured driver. Also, without having insurance, you could be personally liable for thousands of dollars worth of damages to somebody. So I'm disappointed. It was a strange ticket by the DNR, and you were out in the middle of nowhere, which is where the DNR goes. January 9th, not sure what kind of season was in season on January 9th. That was 6 o'clock on a Monday night, but you don't live too far away from there.
Actually, he gave me that ticket right on my property.
All right. So you have a license. I mean, you have a right to drive on your own property. Let's say you got a 100-acre farm. You want to drive around on it in a dune buggy. You don't need a driver's license to do that. This was a Chevy S10, and I'm not sure whether it was on a road or where it was, but all right.
Turner, it's for the record, it appears that the only thing suspending Mr. Aiken is an unpaid citation from Coldwater for a no insurance.
Well,
And
I thought they were no longer suspending people for unpaid
That's what I thought.
citations.
this one was from let me double check. I think the citation was in early 2022.
3/4 of 22 in Coldwater.
Yes, and then the suspension started in June of 22 through indefinite.
Out driving. Well, fail to comply with judgment. See, I thought they weren't doing that.
That's my assumption too.
Now that is the January suspension. Let's look at the other one. I don't necessarily agree with it, but there were two types of suspensions. One is called fail to comply with judgment. That's an FCJ notation, fail to comply with judgment. It means you got convicted of something like no operator's license. The judge gave you a $100 fine and you didn't pay the fine. They could suspend your license for that, and it would take a $45 clearance fee to clear it. The other kind is failure to answer citation. That means you got a ticket and you never showed up. Those are called FACs. And for my entire career, you could get your driver's license suspended for not paying a ticket and not showing up on the ticket. And with the criminal justice reform language, they changed much of that, and they were no longer suspending people for unpaid tickets. I happen to disagree with that because nobody will ever pay their tickets, but I don't have to agree with it. It's what the law is. So let's see what I can discern about that one. Now, also, Coldwater, I don't know, maybe. And when I talked to you the first time, at one time you had a valid driver's license with a driver's license number, and you must have taken driver's ed and passed the test. And because you seem like a decent guy, it's like, don't do this. You're going to get on the driving suspended merry-go-round and you'll never be able to get off of it. But and so if you get one driving suspended, it will suspend your license. If you get two driving suspendeds,
Absolutely.
it will, then you'll be on the driver license. So at one time, you were willing to get a driver's license and comply with the Michigan law regarding that. I'm not sure what changed, but you can't drive around with no insurance, no plates, and a suspended license. Miss Davis's point is you could get your license unsuspended if you went over to Coldwater or to the Secretary of State's office, in which case they would give you some consideration, perhaps an offense that doesn't suspend your license. So you've got this skewed notion about travel, and the Uniform Commercial Code has absolutely nothing to do with the Motor Vehicle Code or criminal statutes. And people cite it to me like it's some sort of authority. It's like they cite certain things they like and ignore things they don't. Anyway, my whole point today is the same point as the last time. You're going to make a big mess out of this, and it really could be fixed. Do you have any willingness to go to Coldwater and clear up that ticket?
If I had a way to get there, yeah, for sure.
Well, you could call them on the phone and say, hey, how much do I owe? And send them a credit card payment or something. Or you could go to the Secretary of State's office in Sturgis.
Thank you.
But
And Your Honor, just so that I can maybe explain this to him so that he understands. It looks like you have a very short driving record.
Oh, they are both trying so hard here.
There's not like a ton of things on there. It was like speeding and then this thing in March. It looks like you got a citation for just not having a proof of your insurance with you, which is a civil infraction. And judge can probably tell you how much those typically cost. That was issued on March 4th of 22, and it says that it was a default judgment and the conviction date of 3/17 of 22. So it looks like you probably had like a 10 days to answer the citation, and you didn't. Then the next thing is showing for that same exact ticket, so not a new ticket or anything different, that you had a violation, same day violation, with the conviction date of 3/28/22. So I don't know if they gave you a certain number of days to pay it, or they were going to suspend you, and where they may have sent that notice to.
Yes, I never got a notice from Coldwater at all.
So then as of 3/28/22, they're saying, hey, you still haven't paid this, but it says that there was a plea on 3/28/22. Did you ever go to court in Coldwater?
No.
So you got your ticket on the roadside, and then you just did nothing with it?
That's what it looks like. You
Yeah,
got a
I mean,
ticket
it's
and
not
you
that
never-
I willfully did that. It was
No, I'm
more,
not saying you
yeah,
willfully
yeah.
did, but like you didn't go to court for it, you didn't have a
No.
hearing or anything like that?
Mhm.
Okay, so it looks like you need to pay whatever the cost is for the civil infraction, which is.
In our county, it's $150. I don't know what it is in Coldwater.
So if you were to pay that, then I would offer to reduce these other two tickets
I think it might be
to
the best suggestion
what we
we have.
call 257/326. It's the one where it doesn't get reported to the Secretary of State. It's generally a fine and cost. There's no points on your license, and you would get your license back and not have to worry about this. And my concern is that I don't know how you got here today. Hopefully you didn't drive here
No,
today.
I didn't. I have
Okay.
somebody,
Good.
my grandmother.
I appreciate that. So if you can get this civil infraction paid off in
They
Coldwater,
really are.
it will renew, like your license will be fine and not be suspended then. And if you plead to what I'm offering, it's not going to get resuspended. It'll be done. So that's what our offer is.
Plus the ancillary issues if you keep driving around with no insurance. Right now, you can't get any insurance because your license is suspended. There used to be 31 ways to get your license suspended. I counted them. I probably missed a few. They've removed a lot of them. For example, if you got caught with marijuana, they suspend your license. If you didn't pay a ticket, they
And
suspend
50
your
ways
license.
to leave your lover.
Another one is to kill somebody with a motor vehicle. Another one is to have multiple drunk driving convictions. Another one is to have too many points on your driving record.
Okay, Judge, we don't need all
Multiple
31.
driving suspended. Some of those can't be fixed. You can't go to the Secretary of State's office and say, hey, I'm sorry when you killed somebody in a vehicular accident. Yours is like minor. All you got to do is pay the money and they'll unsuspend it. Some people, they can't fix it. They don't have American citizenship. They can't get a valid license. They've got multiple drunk drivings on their record. They've got a vehicular death. They've got 27 points. I had one guy, his job was fixing bowling alley pin setting machines. He drove all over the state. He had 37 driving suspended charges
Holy cow.
because he was driving all over the place to job assignments. Anyway, he couldn't fix it, so he just kept driving, and then he ended up going to jail. Anyway, you can fix it. That's why it's like watching some kid who is in May of his senior year in high school, and he drops out of school. And all he had to do was get through the last few weeks, or having some foolish guy escape from the jail 2 weeks before he was supposed to get out. So this isn't as severe maybe as either of those things, but this can be fixed, and the prosecutor is willing to make a generous plea offer to keep you from having your driver's license suspended for the rest of your life. Because what'll happen is you'll get suspended, you'll keep driving, then you'll never get your license back. To her credit, she's more worried about that than maybe you are. But so are you willing to do that, to go to find out what you need to do to get unsuspended?
So what kind of plate offer is it again? Just what you were
It would
telling
be
me?
allowing another to violate the motor vehicle code. It's under 257326. Now, I'm still concerned about this other one. I told you I was going to put you in jail if you drove again, but you're very close to your house. You did the exact same thing. You're driving the same truck with no insurance and no plates. So I don't know if I got through to you or not. And the thing is, you can fix it.
That'd be a
Now,
no.
even if you get your license back, you still can't drive around with no license plates and no insurance. But you can't get license plates or insurance until you get your license back. So the other thing, this is going to cost some money. You're going to have to pay the cold water ticket. You're going to have to get proper plates, proper insurance. Are you working someplace?
Kind of hard to when I can't
Sorry to disappoint
drive
you.
to work. I haven't been driving since the last incident.
And you live way out in the country. You live out in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And so it isn't like you live somewhere where you could walk to work or ride your bikes. So there's a money component to this also.
And Your Honor, please correct me if I'm wrong. It's my understanding that because these other tickets, you have
He's too
contested
nice.
them, they're at issue, okay? So they have not entered. If you go pay in cold water, you'll have your license back. It may have a reinstatement fee.
Yeah, you're exactly right. If you, let's say you owe $150 and a $50 reinstatement fee, your license will be valid till we do deal with these. So you could drive to Middlebury for a trailer factory. You could drive to Stryker. I don't know. You drive anywhere.
So long as you've got insurance.
And you've got a plate.
Registered. But I mean, just trying to make the point that I don't want you to feel that it's not worth going and doing that because you have these other two tickets. That's what I'm trying to resolve is if you go pay cold water and get your license reinstated, you probably have to pay a reinstatement fee at the Secretary of State. You'll have a valid license. If you've got a vehicle that has a valid plate and insurance on it, whether it's yours or somebody else's, you can drive that all you want. But
They're begging him to not destroy his own life. Absolutely begging him. You'll see the decision he makes.
then we can deal with these two tickets in a way that isn't going to resuspend your license. So that's where I'm headed anyway on my side. Or we can have a trial, but that's like down the road.
Right.
And again, unless you take care of your license in cold water and get your reinstatement fee paid, you're still not going to have a license through trial. So I just wanted to try to explain that, I guess.
All right. I am concerned about your ability to try this case on your own without understanding the rules of evidence or procedure in front of a
you
jury. A judge trial will be
Although we want to
less
see it.
of a burden. But are you willing to have me set this for a judge trial like in May, except both cases on the same day, and see if you can get your license back in the meantime? Or do you want me to set these for a jury trial? Let me say that. Do you have a mentor or somebody that's helping you with this stuff?
This is all me.
All right. Do you get it on the internet?
It's all through common law
I know, but
or Supreme Law.
where do you find it?
SupremeCourt.org.gov.
I don't know who he thinks he is, talking to anybody like that.
Your Honor,
Listen, you're going to agitate me if you lie to me. I saw you. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to tell you one last time. You are going to agitate me if you lie to me. I saw you.
All right. Well, okay. All right. That's my proposal. I set this for a bench trial in front of Judge Pattison or me in May sometime. That will give you February, March, April to get squared away with Coldwater and the Secretary of State. If you can do that, Ms. Davis will make you some sort of plea offer that won't result in your license being suspended. I'm going to give you a fine. I'll give you time to pay it. If not, we can then proceed with a trial on the merits of one or both cases. Is that acceptable to you?
Yeah. Could you actually go over this and read this real quick?
No,
By any chance?
because it's like reading something that somebody wrote on the back of a popcorn sack. It doesn't have any lawful authority. It's something you read on the internet. I went to law school. I passed the bar. I got admitted to the bar. I was a prosecutor for 23 years and I've been a judge for 20. So I have some knowledge of the law. And I didn't learn it by reading about it on the internet. So the stuff that you're giving me, I've seen it before, dozens of times, and it doesn't have any legal authority or precedent.
Okay, that'd be a no.
And so it's like I'm talking Spanish and you're talking Russian. We're not speaking the same language. But if you want to have a trial, it's okay with me, but I'm trying to save you from getting on the driving suspended merry-go-round and never getting back off of it. In fact, it'd be easier to just try it. So no, that is, you don't just show up in court and say, here, judge, read this. You file it as a pleading. And so that's why I'm concerned about you trying to do this in front of a jury without some more help. But I'll do whatever you want. If you want me to set it for a jury trial, I will. If you want me to set it for a bench trial in May and give you time to get squared away, I'll do that too. You have this feeling that somehow we're trying to get you or screw you or something. And people often feel that way. That, they're coming to court and the prosecutor's going to get them or the judge is going to do something to them. That isn't how it worked. I offered to appoint a lawyer for you and you declined that. Then they could give you this advice. I'm still willing to do that, but every time you told me you did not want an attorney.
Correct.
All right, you still do not want an attorney in the case. You made it clear about that. You do have a right to represent yourself.
Yeah, under Article 1, Section 13. I am, yeah.
All right. So what would you like me to do? Set this for a jury trial?
Let's do a jury trial, and I will be bringing in peers
Oh, sweet Jesus. What?
for the jury trial as well.
Peers for what? Like peers to come watch the proceeding or somehow be here on your behalf?
Just being here.
Okay, well, you can bring 100 people if you want. It's a public courtroom. They can come and sit. They watch it on YouTube. All right. Now, let's talk about this again. The first case is driving with no insurance. That's a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to a year in jail. Carries a minimum fine of $200, maximum fine of $500, and it requires that you be fingerprinted.
Yeah, that's what he was talking about.
Driving suspended is a misdemeanor, punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. It carries 2 points and it requires that your driver's license be suspended. You have 2 of those. You have one from January 9th and one from October 18th. And then you also have a registration plate violation. Because you weren't far from home, I'm going to make a hollow threat because I told you if you did this again, I'm going to set a cash bond. If you do this again, if you drive again and get another citation and come in here and plead not guilty, I'm going to set a cash bond of some substance, like $2,500.
Nobody believes it, Judge. We love you, but nobody believes you.
You can fix this problem. And we've tried to explain to you how to do it. And you can still do it. If you go to the Secretary of State in Coldwater and get things paid off and you contact Ms. Davis, she'll still give you some consideration. But you're going to bring in here about 36 of your fellow citizens. They're going to take a day off from work. They're going to get a babysitter for their kids, or they're going to be up all night after working third shift to hear you try to claim some half-baked theory that you have a right to travel. And they're going to convict you in about 3 minutes. And then you're going to be on the driving suspended merry-go-round and you won't be able to get off of it. So I will set it for a jury trial at your request. I'll set both cases on the same day. Deborah, in the first case, who are your witnesses?
Your Honor, the witnesses would be Officer Max Kuhn, Chief Dan Thayer, Keeper of Records for the State of Michigan for insurance information.
Also have a certified driving record?
Yes. It's my understanding that the defendant himself has a videotape of the incident, and because the digital evidence from the police officers was purged.
Which is the video? It's like a body camera or something?
Yeah. Well, I have a video as well as when they pulled me over and Chief Bear was threatening.
Yeah, big dummy. You should not say that, because now you can't get rid of it without a spoliation of evidence claim. And they can prove it without it easily, but it's a lot better to have a video of you showing yourself driving.
Threatening to break my windows and threatening to arrest me during the stop.
Would you roll your windows down or something?
I cracked them. I was just, because it was a fear, because I was getting ganged up by 2.
Oh, he did the whole, I wish I had the video of that. I wish I had the video. He did the whole cracked window soft sit routine. They threatened to break the window, the whole bit. We might have had a window smash and a tase even.
And so I was just telling them that, I have the right to travel, I didn't commit no crime, there's no injury, there's no injured victim.
What happens if you hit somebody when you're traveling with no valid insurance and no valid driver's license? It's a 15-year felony to kill someone when you're driving with a suspended driver's license, even if it's not your fault. So I don't want to drive on the roadway with you. You don't have a valid driver's license. You don't have valid license plates. You don't have any insurance because you think you don't need it. Well, everybody else does. And I certainly don't want to encounter you driving around this old Chevy truck with no insurance on it. But I understand that you have the right to have a trial and represent yourself. All right. So we have certified driving record. Defendant has video. Do you have any witnesses you wish to call?
Yeah, I have Joseph Hayes, senior.
The Joe Hayes who lives out on Michigan Ave?
He used to.
Is he in Constantine now?
Yeah, he's back in Constantine now.
Oh, because he couldn't move in. He had to have some time pass. So he's back in Constantine now?
Yep.
He's got one stinking witness. The judge knows him, and he knows him from an unrelated charge. Oh, this is shaping up awesome already.
All right. Anybody else?
Deborah.
Was he there?
He was there after
According to some
officer told me to call him and get somebody to tow me out of town, get the vehicle home.
Well, they give you a break there.
Yeah.
Because when they tow the vehicle, all the time people lose it. They tow it. It goes to the impound yard. You can't get it out unless you have valid insurance. Then they end up just losing the car. So both times they let, of course, the other one, they probably just pull back into your driveway.
Yeah, he pulled right into my whole yard.
All right. And then, who else besides Joe Hayes?
There wasn't any more witnesses. That was pretty much it.
All right. And then the other case is just the DNR officer.
Yep.
Yeah.
All
Don't
right.
worry, Joe
Now,
Purple Haze is going to
I
explain it
can't
all.
encourage you anymore. Don't drive anymore. Go to the Secretary of State's office and get your license cleared up. Then you can drive. And then Miss Davis will give you some consideration regarding these, but don't do this again before we get this separate trial. All right. Everything else, Deborah?
It won't go.
I believe that covers everything.
I'm gonna set the new case for jury trial on the same day. And we'll do one or the other, or we'll get them resolved. Do you have anything else, Mr. Aiken, that you want me to know?
Yeah, I'm gonna actually file this with the clerk after I get out of here.
All right,
Because
yeah,
I was showing you.
You can file a pleading or a motion.
Or motion, that's what I meant.
All right. You have 21 days to do that.
Yeah, if you don't know what it is, you probably don't know how to file it right.
All right, we'll be in recess. That finishes our day here. You'll get a notice. You're still at the Miller's Mill address.
Correct.
All right. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Aiken, if you would get that video to me sooner rather than later, I would appreciate it. That
Okay.
way I can take a look at it and go from there, okay?
Definitely.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, no, thank you, Deb.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you, Mr. Aiken. Thank you for not driving here today.
You're welcome.
Yeah, if you could kindly turn over that videotape of you filming yourself committing the offenses, that'd be super. And now you've said it in open court. You can't you can't say you don't have it. Oh, good Lord. Of course he'll be convicted. I don't know. Hopefully he comes to his senses before then. I mean, it looks like he needs a couple $100 to get his license back. And then Deborah's saying to him, look, if you do that, then we will resolve these so it doesn't resuspend your license. You can't get nicer than that. For all the world, his license should be resuspended by this. But there you have it. There you have it. I know that one was a little long. It was a little mellow. It was kind of a Zen Judge Middleton experience, but I just kind of had to let it play out. Slow and easy on a Saturday. Thank y'all for coming out. I'll see you soon.